Hello, everybody. I picked this story, Seamore, the Very Forgetful Porpoise. We don't hear a lot about a porpoise when we talk about sea animals, so I thought that this one would be fun to read. A Forgetful Porpoise by Darcy Edgmond and illustrated by Giotto Siebold. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a forgetful porpoise named Seamore. Seamore lived deep in the deep blue sea. There he is, Seamore. Like most porpoises, Seamore was kind and playful. In fact, he was probably the sweetest porpoise you could ever hope to meet. But unlike most porpoises, Seamore was very, very forgetful. He forgot everything. He forgot to listen in his class. He forgot who his friends were. Hi, I'm Seamore. I know. Teacher says, Seamore! He forgot to make plans. He forgot plans that they had made. And sometimes Seamore even forgot how to play his favorite games. Hey, what you guys doing? You said that like an hour ago. Twat, ping, pap, bonk. All the other animals are playing right, and Seamore forgot. He got a bunk on his head. This is what it looked like when Seamore tried to remember something. Seamore even tried every trick he could to think of to fix his memory. He wrote himself notes, but then he forgot where he put them. He tied strings around his fins to remind him of things, but he could never remember which string meant what. No matter how hard he tried, things only got worse. Seamore decided he needed more than tricks and gimmicks to solve his problem. If his memory wouldn't come back to him, he was just going to have to go out and find it. So he swam off alone to do just that. And there he is, off to find his memory. Beyond the reef, past the old sunken ship, and through the kelp forest, Seamore swam. Still, his memory was nowhere to be found. And finally, when he was far, far from home, Seamore saw another porpoise. Maybe he's my memory, Seamore thought. Hello there, he said happily. Seamore swam in closer and then realized he was talking to his own reflection. Seamore studied himself. He looked like just any other porpoise, as far as he could remember, but then he noticed something particular. Aha, no wonder I'm forgetful, he said. My memory must be slipping right through this hole in the back of my head. Seamore couldn't wait to get home and share his news, but when he did, the other porpoises only laughed. Seamore, they said, we all have holes in the tops of our heads. Don't tell us you forgot. Seamore smiled sheepishly, and then he slipped back into the blue. Moving sadly along and forgetting to watch where he was going, Seamore swam smack into a creature he'd never met before. It looked like a porpoise, only much bigger. It was black and white and had an enormous smile with lots of big, sharp teeth. You guys know what kind of animal that is? Yeah, a killer whale or an orca. Oh, hello, my name is Seamore, Seamore said shyly. Hello, Seamore, answered the giant porpoise. And Seamore smiled. What is your name, he asked. I'll tell you, said the creature, but first you'll have to count to 7. Seamore didn't know if he could remember how to count that high, but he tried anyway. 1. This was already hard. After 1 is 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6. Kevin! Exclaimed the giant porpoise. What are you doing out here on your own? Kevin asked. I can't remember, said Seamore, and he really couldn't. Kevin! That's all right. I forget things sometimes too. You do? Asked Seamore, very excited to meet a like-minded animal. Of course I do. Everyone forgets from time to time. Not me, confessed Seamore. I forget all of the time. I bet you could remember some of your favorite things to do, said Kevin. Sure, answered Seamore. That's easy. Come on, I'll show you. And together they began to play. Oh. Pop! They blew great big bubbles and watched them go pop when they reached the surface. Out of that hole in the back of their head, huh? The big orca has a hole too in the top of his head. They dove down deep and swam along the ocean floor to feel the sand tickle their bellies. And soon the sun was low in the sky and it was time to go. But before he swam home, Seamore invited Kevin over for dinner and gave him directions to his house. You go straight through the kelp forest and take a left at the sunken ship, and I live just past the coral reef. Seamore rushed to tell the others all about his new friend. He tried his hardest to remember everything about Kevin, and to his amazement, he did. He's how big? One porpoise asked. And he's what color? Said another. And he has how many teeth? A third chimed in. He's not a giant porpoise, he's a killer whale, said a fourth. Dinner at 8, asked the last one. We'll be 8 for dinner. The porpoise laughed again, but this time nervously. Uh-oh. Just then a large shadow spread over the seafloor, and everyone scattered and hid in the reef, except for Seamore. I am early. Where is everybody? Asked Kevin. They're hiding, Seamore confessed. Oh, hide and seek, my favorite, exclaimed Kevin. Look at that big old smile. You think he's up to no good? And with that, Kevin began to find the petrified porpoises one by one. But he didn't try to scare or eat or even bite them. Gotcha, he laughed. And when the others saw that Kevin was friendly, they joined in on the game. It was always easy to find Kevin because he was as big as a whale. Later that night, everyone sat down to dinner and Kevin ate only what was on his plate. Seamore's recollection of their day, along with Kevin's impression coin collection, made the other porpoises forget that they had even been afraid at all. And they laughed and told stories, and the 7 of them all ate until 9. 7, 8, 9. As for Seamore, he remained as forgetful as ever. Well, almost. But now he had Kevin to remind him of all of the important things. Oh, he made a new friend. The end, says the little fish. Oh, that's a cool story. Seamore is very forgetful, but he made a new friend to help him with his memory. And it's always fun to make new friends. Even if you're different or if somebody else is different, you can always make friends with somebody. There's somebody out there for all of us to make friends with. All right, have a good day.